Okay, we are live. I am going to give you the number 1, 2, 3, and 4 hacks for PMDD, actually, and maybe even 5, but for sure number 1. If you don't know what PMDD is, it stands for premenstrual dysphoric disorder. It is the only female disease or malady, what is it called? Disorder. It's the only female disorder in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, which is the manual that the psychological people use. Oh, I sound so uneducated right now. The Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Psychology and Psychiatry, where they can go there and look for your symptoms and see what's wrong with you, basically. So, premenstrual dysphoric disorder is obviously exclusive to women who are menstrual. Okay? And they have yet to really figure it out, but they're getting a little more information all the time. Now, I wish they would consult with me because I have actually been suffering from this for many decades, but I wasn't aware because my periods are so irregular, or they were before my first son was born in 2004. So once my periods became regular, I started to be able to see there was a pattern, because before that there was no pattern. Of course, you guys know that every time I get on, my dogs start drinking and walking around and chewing on bones, and the phone starts ringing and the whole thing. It's Murphy's Law. Shadow, go lay down. So, premenstrual dysphoric disorder actually is a mood disorder. But the symptoms for many, if not most women, are not just mood, it is very physical. Physical, horrible physical symptoms, lots and lots of pain, cramping, migraines, just everything you can imagine. The total lack of energy, just brain fog, irritability, everything. And so many years ago, I was having symptoms and not knowing it was related to my period. Many doctors are unaware of this and wrongly diagnose women as bipolar, not really understanding what true bipolar looks like. So, when you are able to track the symptoms, and part of the way they diagnose PMDD is by looking at the pattern of destruction. Getting fired from jobs, breaking up relationships, outbursts at the same time every month about, okay? And the thing about premenstrual dysphoric disorder is it might not even happen right on or around your period, although that's usually when it is the most intense. But it can start, the symptoms can begin at ovulation, which is 10 days after the first day of your last period. So if I start my period on September 1st, probably I'm going to ovulate on September 10th. And that's when the symptoms start. So you can imagine there's only this little period of 10 days where we feel good, assuming we feel good right when we start our periods, which usually it takes a few days through our periods. And then we have like maybe a week before it hits us, and we can feel it when it happens. Something will happen, but we don't always notice that it's related to our periods because our periods are so far off in the distance, right? So it can start with ovulation. And if you know a woman who is menstrual, you do not even have to let her know you are tracking these symptoms to find that pattern. Especially if she's in the throes of it. You know, that saying, "Are you on your period?" is the worst thing you can say to someone who's having a period issue, or to a woman in general. It invalidates whatever is going on with her. And a lot of the times, the things that we get super irritated about, they're real things that we just can't ignore anymore. So, these people. So, what I've found is that the latest information seems to indicate a buildup of norepinephrine in the bloodstream. So if you've ever taken a no-dose, do you remember those pills? I don't even think they sell them anymore. Or if you've had an asthma attack and you go to the hospital and they give you a breathing treatment, that's epinephrine. It makes your heart race. It makes you super amped up. It's adrenaline. So if you can imagine if you've ever had a burst of adrenaline and then it just doesn't go away. That burst, that you're super on high alert, right? So there's a concentrated buildup in the bloodstream. Well, they say it's a concentrate or a buildup, too much. But what I think it may not be that there's too much of it. It's just it's too concentrated because we're dehydrated. I think that dehydration is the main problem and the way to alleviate symptoms, because if you look at the symptoms of dehydration, they're the same as premenstrual dysphoric disorder: muscle cramping, fatigue, foggy brain, irritability, lack of appetite. All of these things that women complain about are the same as dehydration. And so I think the first easiest way to help women suffering from severe premenstrual dysphoric disorder is this: a nice big glass. This is probably 24 ounces or something like that. Let me see if I can not spill it all over the place and see how much is in here. This is 16 ounces, so that's going to be 24 ounces to the top. This is from Ninja, right? So I could put the little blender on top and blend all this together, which would actually be really good. What I have in here right now is, of course, water and my favorite tea, the Tazo Passion Tea. And people could say, well, that's not water. Trust me, your body knows how to filter out the water. You can drink water if you want to, but I'm going to tell you why you need extra stuff in your water. It doesn't have to be tea if you don't want to use tea. I also use a lot of mint tea. Okay. Now, what I have in here besides the tea bag is magnesium fizz. Now, usually I get the Calm powder that has magnesium and calcium in it. CalMag. This does not have calcium in it, and it is best if you can get magnesium with calcium because they work together as a team to help absorption. Because if you're not absorbing it, it's not helping you. Okay, so I've got a scoop of that in here. And what that also helps with is bloat and constipation, right? And energy, because you have to have electrolytes. And that's the other thing. You can just get a packet of electrolytes, which I did get from Whole Foods. They have little individual packets, and you can try different electrolytes and see what works for you. But a lot of them don't have the concentration of magnesium that you might need. Not only is it going to help relax the muscles, but we are not made of water. We're made of saline. And saline solution has salt in it. It's actually electrolytes. Without electrolytes in your body, you can't conduct what? Electricity. So your battery is, and you feel like you don't have any energy because you don't. The other thing that I do is, see my jar here, what's in the bottom? It is this pink Himalayan salt, Soleil. So what I do is I maybe didn't put enough in. I'll have to actually taste it. Okay, so I'm going to taste this. No, that's fine. So you put your salt in the bottom, and then you put water in there, and as much salt that can dissolve in this water to make a saline solution is exactly how much it's going to be. Now watch how much I put in here. Boop. Maybe a little more. Boop. Oh, that was whatever, about a teaspoon. This pink Himalayan sea salt is going to have a ton of minerals and things that you need and electrolytes. It's salt, but it's not table salt, sodium table salt. And then I'm going to mix that in there and drink it. And you would not even believe what this does for your energy, your mental clarity, gets rid of bloat and constipation, helps you relax. And this stuff is what you need to stay hydrated. And this goes for anybody. We all are dehydrated and deficient, but we don't all freak out over it. Really look at the symptoms if you're having premenstrual dysphoric disorder or just bad PMS, right? Because there is a difference. Look at the symptoms of dehydration. The other thing we need is iodine. So this is iodized sea salt, and you want to cook with this stuff so that you get your iodine. If you have another way to get iodine, great. I was just at Whole Foods and picked up all of this stuff because I was feeling like absolute, holy hell, I was feeling horrible, like crap. It was hard for me just to walk forward, just to wake up or do anything or to think. I would sit down at the computer and I was like, what's wrong with me? Because I forget this stuff. So as I'm reminding myself, I'm reminding you as well. So the number one premenstrual dysphoric disorder hack is this kind of hydration, not just water, but this. Now, you know you've had enough magnesium when your stool is loose, okay? But guess what your loose stool is gonna do once you get to that point? It's gonna clean you out because maybe you're so dehydrated that you can't poo right, okay? And that'll make you feel better and it'll make you lose a bunch of weight. So once you get to that point, you know how much you personally need. You might need more than you thought, okay? So just, you gotta see where your body is. After a while, this is something that I learned that actually really works. If you're feeling dehydrated, or even if you just wanna try this on a daily basis, so you take your salt and you're gonna sprinkle some in your hand until your body says stop. That might be more, that might be less. My guess is it's going to be probably the first time you do it, if you're not feeling great, about a teaspoon or half a teaspoon or somewhere around there. When you look at it, you'll be like, oh, that's about a teaspoon. And then you dump it in your water, let it dissolve, drink it. You're going to feel so much better in a pretty short period of time. And then maybe the next day you do it again and you might need a little less. And the next day a little less until you have whatever you need on a daily basis. Now, I'm not a doctor, but I have premenstrual dysphoric disorder, and you can tell that I am not lacking energy. And I was feeling horrible. Now, there you go. There's your hydration. There's your iodine. The other thing that I want to implore you, pick up some of this. Pick up a case of it, right? I don't have any because I totally forgot about it, and this is part of the problem. I forget about this stuff too. And I'm 53 years old. I just turned 53, a week ago. Yay! And I still have regular periods. I've missed one period. But because I know to stay hydrated and now I'm all stocked up on my stuff, I don't have the freakouts that I used to. And trust me, I had the worst kind. Only 1% of premenstrual dysphoric disorder women are literally suicidal, and I was there several years ago. It was bad, and that's how I came to understand that I have premenstrual dysphoric disorder, because I didn't know. I just thought I hated everybody sometimes because they're all assholes. And that might be true, but other people can tolerate assholes. I could not. Okay, so yes, your environment matters. Stay away from toxic people. Don't get into relationships that are questionable. I was actually married to a guy for a few months, and man, it was a sport for him to trigger me. And I no longer talk to him. He doesn't have my number. He can't reach out to me because even trying to maintain a friendship with him, because I took responsibility for my part of things, but he was also an alcoholic. So there was a lot of toxicity going on there. But once I kind of fixed mine, and I still try to maintain that relationship because I took responsibility for my part in things, I recognized that he still had all those behaviors and constantly was trying to trigger me into an argument or whatever. And I'm like, you know what? Not worth it. Not worth it at all. And I really could see how there was sport involved for him trying to trigger me. So no thanks. And I don't do that to people. It's just, I'm a very loving and compassionate person. And if I know that someone is vulnerable in a certain area, I tread lightly or try to support them. And I got none of that. So definitely stay out of toxic relationships. If they are not supportive and compassionate, I'm not doing it. Which seems obvious, right? So next thing I was going to say, pick up yourself a case of multi-symptom Pamprin. The maximum strength Pamprin has caffeine in it, and you can try that out. Sometimes you might want it, sometimes you don't. Caffeine, alcohol, things like that are said to kind of make premenstrual dysphoric disorder worse. But you're just going to have to try and see for yourself, because I know that when I'm feeling run down, even when I'm hydrated in those last few days of my period or leading up to it, I am just fatigued no matter what. So honor that, take some naps if you can, but if you still have to go to work and take care of kids, that's not going to work, is it? So either drink your coffee or take the Pamprin with caffeine in it. But that Pamprin is a wonder drug. It doesn't take the place of hydrating. It can't give you energy that you don't literally have in your body with a saline solution. And when you're dehydrated, that saline, and this isn't like salty water like table salt, it's saline solution like the ocean, like your body. That's what we are made of. When I use this, you saw how little bit I use. You could even like take a little teaspoon and just put a little teaspoon in a tall glass of water. You will be amazed at how amazingly yummy that tastes to you when you're dehydrated. And you'll know when you've had enough, but you'll be shocked at how good and fulfilling and satisfying that is. It's sustenance. It is absolutely going to resonate with you, and you'll feel your energy level totally amping up, and you'll feel a lot more normal. So please, if you are or know a woman who might have these issues with her periods, just share this video. And this stuff, you know, I went and I bought this and this, and this, and a couple of packets of electrolyte to try out and see, because I'd never tried them before, and they have little individual ones for about $1. Okay, I got all of these things. It was under $40, and it will last many, 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 many months. More, probably a whole year, you know, probably. But hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Now, if you drink too much plain water, you could really do yourself a disservice, because plain old water is washing away your vital nutrients. So learn how to hydrate well. This is how I do it, and it absolutely 100% works. And it could save your life. It could save your job, your relationships. It'll just generally help your sanity. Because that period of time, I swear, like when we get that little week of window, it's almost like a panic. We feel so amazing, but we know there's another period coming around again. There's another ovulation that's going to hit. And that is, it's so much internal tension, and it can build into rage. And that is definitely not what we want. Of course, I am working on not only a quickie digital course for premenstrual dysphoric disorder, where I share a lot more of the research with you and what other countries do for their women, because here in America we do absolutely zero. Medical industry barely even knows about this. But in other countries, not only do they know about it, but they take a very proactive part in helping women live happier, more fulfilling lives. So, and then of course I've been working on this documentary for years. It's just me doing this stuff. I wish I had a team. If you are someone that knows how to do documentaries and wants to team up on this documentary, I need your help. it's hard for me to do everything that I've got to get done here, homeschooling, running a business, and getting out this digital content to you that is meaningful and impactful. And that's why I just throw these videos up there for you guys with the dogs barking and the phone ringing and the kids blah, 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 and all this stuff, because just ignore all that stuff, take out the value, and stay well and healthy. So this is for my girls out there suffering from premenstrual dysphoric disorder, or anyone who knows someone like that, because it can get ugly quick, and it can get not ugly quick. Try hydrating, and please, if you're going to try this out, put it in the comments what your results were. I would love to know if this is helping people. So that's really it. I love you. I always say that, but it's absolutely true. We are connected, and I can feel those of you out there who this is resonating with, because we're on the same wavelength. So take it easy, hydrate, and let me know what's happening.